It's just me and you for this one. So sit back, grab a cold one, relax, take your shoes off, put your feet up, strap in for a ride, let's talk. The first thing I want to address is why I look like an 80s dealer, and it's not because I'm an 80s dealer, it's because I'm in this beautiful tropical room that Melinda put together. It's our guest room, but it's almost like a little vacation room, basically, because it's full of super positive vibes. It's super green. It's very lively in here. There's tons and tons of plants. And to break up the boredom of me just looking straight at you and talking to you, I'm going to guess the names of 5 random plants. And for every one that I get correct, I'm going to get a kiss on the cheek from my beautiful wife, Melinda. My name is Edine. If you haven't watched any of our content before, my wife and I are full-time eBay resellers or resellers in general, and we make YouTube content documenting our journey in hopes that you get some entertainment from it, but you also learn from us and maybe learn from our mistakes, learn from our success. And hey, if this is something that interests you and maybe you want to pursue this as a career, then subscribe for the channel, watch our content, hit us up on Instagram, follow us there, and we are happy to help you in any way that we can. I wanted to make this video specifically because it's been 6 months since I left the corporate world and started doing this as a full-time income. So I want to cover subjects like insurance and happiness and family and balance, business growth, opportunity, just a general feel for all these things, and just give you my perspective on how it's going, discuss any regrets that I have, talk about any mistakes or any things that I'm extremely excited about. That's what I want to do here. So again, strap in, relax. It's just going to be you and me, and I really hope that you take something away from this video. And if you do, please let me know in the comments section below. Let's get started. I'm going to start off with an easy one. This is a snake plant. I know that one for a fact. We have these in our bedroom as well. They're beautiful, resilient little buggers.
This is a snake plant.
Let's get the regrets out of the way first, because that's the first thing I wanted to get off my chest. So the question is, do you have any regrets leaving the corporate world, leaving that cushy office lifestyle, and doing what you're doing now? And before I answer that question, let me give you a spoiler alert. The answer is no, but let me give you a little bit of a background of what I used to do. So straight out of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, so I attended community college. It took me like 9 years to get a 2-year degree because I had no idea what I wanted to do, which is going to be a common thing amongst a lot of people. And eventually you're going to figure it out, but it takes a lot of time for a lot of people. And I think a lot of people go into different fields, different careers, expecting something that they truly don't get, and then they might regret that as well. So I'm okay with having my 2-year degree in applied chemistry and working, right? So I come from an immigrant family. We immigrated here from Bosnia, and my parents didn't have anything when we got here. So their primary focus was to provide shelter and food for us. And we as kids didn't really understand the educational system, so we did the best that we could, and they did the best that we could. So no one told me if I played basketball for 4 years in high school that I could get a scholarship to go to college for free. I had no idea, right? So that's kind of the beginning of this journey. After high school, I go to community college, and right away I start working in a factory, $8 an hour, 3rd shift. It was amazing. I lived in my parents' basement. I was making like $250 a week with no bills. It was fantastic. Blew all my money, of course. Ended up getting promoted, went into management, and basically for 15 years roughly I was in the food industry. So I managed food safety, food quality programs, and my last job was at Cisco Corporation, a worldwide food distributor, and I really enjoyed that job. Do I regret leaving? I don't, because the one thing about these jobs and careers is that oftentimes you're going to be put in a situation, a room, a factory setting, whatever, with all of these people that you don't necessarily want to spend time with. Now, if anyone is watching this that I used to work with, I think I told a lot of people to their face or in person what I really mean by this. What I mean is that if you gave me the choice of seeing this group of random people that I have nothing in common with, potentially, that are all strangers with me, or if I got to choose who I wanted to spend time with, I'm going to choose the people I want to spend time with, period. And if somebody out there is like, no, I like, going and working with angry old truck drivers in the morning, and I really like surrounding myself with people that don't care about this company or this job, then maybe we have a difference of opinion, and that's perfectly fine. So I don't regret it. I really enjoy being away from any sort of corporate lifestyle that I'm not in control of my future. So for example, roughly, like 2 months before my daughter was born, before Melinda delivered our baby, I was in a position where I could have lost my job because simply they were downsizing my department and I had no notice, and I was congratulated with a letter after I was told that I get to keep my job, which is the corporate world. There's really no other way around it. It's just the way it works in these large corporations. So that same day I could have walked home and told my wife that I don't have an income, that I need to potentially move for another job opportunity or apply for another job somewhere else, and that obviously would have put a lot of stress in our relationship and our family. Now I get to decide that, right? I don't have somebody else telling me if I'm worth it or not. It's all about me and how much effort I put in towards something, and that's how much reward I'm going to get. That's one of my favorite parts. So no regrets, and I don't regret at all working with people that I met at the job site. I've met some friends and that I've kept over the years, but of the thousands of people that I work with, less than 1% I still have any contact with, right? So that's probably pretty common for everyone. Next up, I'm gonna guess the name of this one is Spiky Twirly Whirly. That's my official guess.
This is a aloe plant. It's a type of climbing aloe.
Let's talk about happiness and family and balance. So one thing that I'm not very good at is balance. So if I am dedicated to something or getting something done or growing a business, I put in a lot of my day doing that. That's my personality. So I know that the amount of effort I'm going to put into something is the amount of reward I'm going to get for it. So balance for me has been difficult. However, I have a wonderful partner in my wife that understands how I work, and we've worked together to get that balance correct. So there's definitely some rules around when we can work, when is it family time, etc. So that's been good. As far as family time, I get to see my daughter every single morning, and I get to spend as much time with her as I want to. So when she comes up to me while I'm doing something, I accept her with open arms. There's never I'm working, I can't right now. That's amazing, right? So if Melinda's watching her and she comes up to me and she wants to draw a bus, we're gonna go draw that frickin' bus, and there's nobody that's going to stand in my way of spending that moment with my child. That's incredible. Each morning when she wakes up, we get to decide how much time we want to spend with her before Melinda's mother-in-law comes over or we drop her off at my parents. So we get to spend time with our daughter a lot, and that's awesome. And I get to stay at home. We are looking to move into a commercial space, but still, I'll get to decide what hours I want to work. So if I want to spend time with my family, I'll do that, and then I'll go work the graveyard shift because that's my choice, not someone else's choice. So that's been wonderful. The balancing act is really tough because it just really depends on the outcome that you're seeking. If you're looking to build a multi-million-dollar business like we are, then you're going to have to make some sacrifices, which is pretty obvious. If you're looking just to pay the bills and live low, low key, that's a perfect aspiration as well, and you can definitely do that reselling. You can decide how much you want to work. You can work 6 months straight, make your money, and then take 3 months off and then restart it again. You can do that. You can work 40 hours a week or 20 hours a week. It just depends on how much money you need, and it also depends on your aspirations and your habits, right? I think the name of this one right here is Cactus. That's my official name for the middle one right here. Cactus.
Bunny ear cactus?
Little kiss? I said cactus. Let's talk about money and debt, because that's pretty important, right? So money is a funny thing, because a lot of the times I think the misconception is the more that money you make, the happier you are. And most people that have a sense in their mind or that understand human psychology really just say that once you get to a certain threshold, and I think recently that's been like $80,000 salary a year, and anything you make after that isn't going to change your life that much or that drastically that you're going to see some exponential growth in happiness. That's typically not the case. So once you get to a certain amount where you're comfortable, you cannot really buy happiness. You can buy a jet ski and you can be happy on that jet ski. You can buy a more comfortable house for your family, you can be more comfortable, but in general, money doesn't equal happiness. For me, happiness means that I am stress-free. So we as a family, we are 100% debt-free, our business is 100% debt-free, and we put ourselves in a position where we can do really what we want on our terms with some limits and understanding of what we're trying to achieve in this life, which is ultimately a stress-free life with income from multiple streams where we can kind of sit back and do what we want to do instead of, you know, working, for example. That doesn't mean that at some point I don't want to work. It's just I get to choose what type of work I want to do, and that's a goal of mine personally. If you're asking yourself like, hey, how much money do I need to make, or what situation should I be in before I leave my job to do this full time? Here's the advice that I would share with you that I've shared with other people. I think you should kind of suck it up for a long period of time until you really establish your livelihood. So what I mean by that is, don't quit your job because you don't like your job. Do your job, do the best you can, whatever that means to you, and then start doing something on the side and really start working 18 hours a day, or you know, something around that 14, 16, 18 hours a day for a long period of time until you decrease your debt to zero, until you can get yourself in a stable environment, like a stable household that you can afford, or even when you pay off all of your debts. Then start slowly transitioning into leaving your job and then doing this full time. Because in any sort of position where you're considered a small business owner or a entrepreneur, it's 100% guaranteed that nothing is guaranteed. Does that make sense? 100% guaranteed that nothing is guaranteed. So you have to have a strong safety net, something to fall back on, stability in your lifestyle. I would not recommend you quitting your full-time job if you have $15,000, $20,000 of credit card debt, you rent an apartment, and you have 2 car payments and a child or 2. Don't do it. You're just going to create even more stress and potentially even put yourself further in the hole. What we did was work our tails off with a newborn for about 1.5 years, aggressively reselling in all the spare time that we had, literally at times where I couldn't stand on my feet anymore, where I would be almost like partially handicapped for like a day or 2 afterwards because I was abusing my feet. I was working too many hours. But that sacrifice led to us paying off our house, paying off all of our debts, and then reducing that stress level of like, hey, you know, these bills are due, how are you going to make up for them? Then we padded our savings account, then we quit our jobs. That's the ideal way that I would recommend. If you think there's better ways, then you think there are better ways. That's 100% up to you and up to your ability to understand business, and then also understand that it's not guaranteed, and then also figure out that when this, you know, happens in any sort of business, that you know how you're going to react, because there's no business that just does this. That's pretty impossible, right? And if you don't know what I mean by this is a graph just exponentially growing, and this is a graph meaning that there's going to be ups and downs in every business. This one I know, it's a money tree, so I'm pretty confident in this one. It's nice. We've had this one for a while too, and at times it's underperformed a bit, or maybe we abused it a bit, but now it's doing really well. This is all Melinda, by the way. Give me 0 credit for any of this. This is her decor, her plants, and something she's done an amazing job with. And this little cacti is about to bloom, which will be pretty nice.
This is a money tree.
Let's take a moment and talk about health insurance. Obviously, health insurance is going to be inexpensive or expensive depending on how much money you're making and the size of your family. If you're a single person, you have no real need for medical insurance, you're not unhealthy, you know, you're fit, you're healthy, you don't have any prescriptions, your monthly premium is going to be pretty low, and you can probably tolerate a pretty high deductible. If you have 2 or 3 children and one of the adults is unhealthy or needs medical attention or needs to see the doctor more often, then your insurance is probably going to be a bit more. So it really all depends on a spectrum. It also depends on your income, right? So we pay roughly $1,000 a month for our insurance for our family. So let's say that we only gross $50,000 a year. Giving $12,000 away for insurance would be extremely expensive. Now let's say that we gross $100,000 a year. Well, it becomes a little bit less expensive, right? It's still the same amount, but it's only 12% of our total gross income. Now let's say we're bringing in $200,000 a year. Well, now you're talking about only 6% of your total revenue that you bring in is going towards health insurance. So then it doesn't really seem that expensive. So you have to figure out how much it's going to cost. We went simply on healthinsurance.gov and we priced it out, and we found a plan similar to the one that I had when I was working at Cisco, and it's pretty much the same thing. For us, it's not really that expensive. It's just something that we have to do. It's almost like a cost of doing business. So think about that as you're thinking about leaving your job and figuring out if you want to do this full time. Also think about multiple income streams. So we have 4, 5, 6 income streams, at least 5. So we do coaching, that's an income stream, that's a small one. We have a YouTube channel that generates ad revenue that typically pays for our insurance every single month. So thank you guys for tuning in, of course, and watching this content, because it literally pays for our health insurance, which is great. We have our resale business, that's our primary income. Then we sell our spreadsheet, link is down below if you want to check it out. That's another income stream. Then we have some savings, some interest that we get here and there. And then we have some properties that we're working on upgrading. So we have multiple income streams that help us kind of alleviate the, wow, this weekend was great in sales, but today was kind of low in sales feeling, right? So think about that as well. How many income streams can you get that are good for you, that you can do, that you're happy to do in case you do want to do it full time? Maybe your full-time job is selling stuff online. Maybe your side hustle then becomes a pizza delivery person to supplement your income, right? It really depends on how much money you want, how much money you need. Like my mother-in-law said a few years ago, you can retire at any time. It just depends on what means you want to live with. And that, I was confused at first when she said that, and I thought about it. It's like, yeah, she's right. You don't actually have to work. If you're okay with living in a dingy small space and eating pizza and, you know, macaroni and cheese out of the Dollar Tree box for the rest of your life, then yeah, you don't really need a job. We just need a little bit of income here and there and you can be fine. But for most people, they want a little bit more out of life than eating macaroni and cheese and living in a dingy small space, right? So most people don't retire at the age of 30 because of that. I'm going to identify this one as the purple leaf plant. I'm pretty sure that's the actual authentic original name of it. I think it's out of Germany, and you want to feed it probably like brats and maybe a little bit of beer for this beautiful growth.
So that's part of the Wandering Dude family. It's I never know if I'm saying this right. Transcentia Nanook.
One thing you also have to ask yourself is if you're happy with what you're doing every single day. So this whole reselling thing is a lot of work, like tons and tons of work. If you want to generate 6 figures a year, it's a lot of work. There's coordination, there's sourcing, there's your workflow, your space, there's packaging, there's accounting. There's a lot that goes on anytime you're running a small business. So first you have to figure out if you enjoy that and what parts of it you enjoy and what parts of it you can tolerate. If you can't tolerate or enjoy the process, then you don't do it because it's going to make you unhappy. You have to ignore a lot of the Instagram and YouTubers, influencers, people, whatever you want to call them, because most of the time, anyone that's on the internet is showing you the highlight reel of their life. So they're going to show you that they sold something for $400. They're not going to show you that they're up until 2 o'clock in the morning working. They're going to show you that they just found this amazing treasure. They're not showing you that they can't find this again because it's extremely difficult to find and source. You get the point, right? So make sure that you understand that it's a highlight reel. There's only a few people out there that are showing you the mess, the stress, the messy and the stressy, the actual work that it requires to make a profit doing this. those people are the ones that you want to hang on to and spend time with. Is this too much fog? I think it's a decent amount of fog. Those are the people that you want to follow and learn from. You don't want to learn from people that are photoshopping every single photo and there's the same color palette on Instagram and it's all perfect and they're always happy and blah, 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 blah. And everything is so exciting and oh my God. And I mean, if you want to follow that, that's fine, but this is too much smoke. But I'm just telling you from a reality point of view, from a business point of view, figure out the people that are real people, and those are the ones you want to pay attention to and gain guidance and encouragement from. The one thing that I love the most about this business is the potential for scaling and growth. Ever since like high school, I wanted to be a businessman. I didn't really understand what that meant, but that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be somebody. Back in the day, I thought I wanted to wear a suit and tie and have a briefcase and walk to business meetings. I don't want to do that, but I do really enjoy growing a business and scaling it and watching it grow. I really enjoy accounting. I really enjoy watching our numbers. I really enjoy figuring out profit margins. I really enjoy making deals and negotiating. I really enjoy the process itself. There's not really one thing that I don't like doing. It's generally like, this is just what needs to get done, so I'm going to go get to it. I don't like listing women's clothing. That's like one of the things that I don't like. And it's only because it's so confusing for me. There's so many, like I learned what a cold shoulder was and it literally made me spit out loud, like laugh out loud, like what? Like I didn't know, like why would you wear something that doesn't protect your shoulders? Like doesn't your shoulder get cold? Like what's going on here? But it's fashion, you know? So that thing I don't like. There's times where I don't enjoy packaging, but it's like that has to get done because the best part about this resale business is when the stuff leaves. That's the best part. That's the whole point. So celebrate it, right? When it's leaving, you should celebrate and not, oh, I gotta go pack it. Oh, I gotta go do listings. Like that attitude isn't going to change much. That attitude isn't going to be productive. That attitude isn't going to make you happy. And if you feel like that, then it's time for you to take a break, step back, and really think about if this is something you enjoy doing. I also enjoy networking and meeting people and getting advice from people and learning from people and giving advice to people and teaching people. I really enjoy that part, that, you know, meeting people and talking to people, having chats with people, answering questions, comments, coaching, interacting. I really enjoy that part. So again, it's something where I enjoy the entire process and I enjoy the social media aspect of it. Therefore, I'm happy to do it without any regrets. Of course, you have to manage your time and not get burnt out, but in general, this must be good for my skin because the plants are doing well. In general, it makes me happy doing this, so I enjoy it. So it honestly does not feel like a job to me. I can do this 7 days a week. I honestly could. And most of the time I'm doing it at least 6 days a week because I'm not really the type that wants to sit back and enjoy, you know, a football game. I don't really like putting my feet up on the couch. I like working and making progress. Especially things that I like doing. I don't like doing house repairs, for example. I don't like painting, fixing stuff, but I do enjoy growing the business and working towards our financial goals. Bonus round, just to see if I can get at least one right. This one right here, I'm gonna say it's a spiky leaf, Brazilian, spiky leaf Brazilian. I think that's the official name for it.
Strawberry begonia.
Last topic of discussion, working with my wife. When I was younger, when I didn't have the right people around me that guided me or made me understand life a little bit more, I couldn't picture working with my wife. I thought like, well, that's not going to be a good thing, right? I wake up, she's right there, I'm working with her all day, I've done working and we eat dinner together, then, you know, it's bedtime together, like we're spending 24 hours a day together. Like there's no way that anybody can do that. But then after I matured a bit, I realized that when you have the right partner and you have a solid foundation and you both are on the same page and you understand each other and you discuss things and you figure out action plans and you have a strong sense of family, and then it becomes like, this is amazing, right? So I have no regrets working with my wife because I love her and there's nothing that I wouldn't do for this woman. So working with her is just like an added bonus because I get to see her. Now, do we bicker? Yeah, of course. Do we have some disagreements? Yeah, of course. But we talk about them. We separate our personal feelings, our personal life away from business. When we go and have a business meeting, it's about business. When we're talking about our life, then it's about our life. And that takes practice and it's not easy, but it's definitely worth it because, again, I'm surrounding myself with the people that I want to be surrounded with, not some people that are miserable, that are negative. Going back to that point, it's like, it seemed like the places that I used to work at, if you had 5 people that were working together for a long period of time, and one of them was like, I'm gonna try something new, and the rest of them just bring them down. Don't do that. What about this? What about that? That's risky. Don't do that. And it feels like the psychology there is like they don't want someone else to outgrow them because they're scared potentially to make that leap. So a lot of the people I used to work with were not very encouraging. They weren't really understanding of my aspirations and dreams. There was like 3 people that I could actually talk to at my last job that understood what I was talking about and were supportive, and they were helpful, and they questioned me and they challenged me, and that's amazing. So you have to surround yourself with those people, and those people are around me all the time. My closest group of friends, they're all made out of entrepreneurs and business owners, because that's the type of people that I want to spend my time with. I don't want to spend time with some person that's miserable, that doesn't want to do anything, that only complains, that brings my energy down. I'm not interested. If you want to talk, I can listen. But if you just want to talk, I'm not interested, because at some point you're going to have to take some responsibility and do something for yourself. Because I'm surely not going to do it for you. I'll help guide you, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time with you. So that's kind of my rant with working with people that you don't want to versus working with people that you do want to. A couple of tips that I wanted to add to the segment of working with my wife. Make sure that you guys are on the same page, your partner, whatever that means to you. Make sure you guys are on the same page, you have the same goals and the same aspirations. Because if you don't honestly have those same goals and beliefs, then it's going to be very difficult for you to work together. Number 2, when conflict comes, make sure you address that conflict as fast as possible so it does not linger and become multiplied conflict down the line. So I think we should sell it at this price point. I think we should sell at this price point. Well, you always determine that price point. Make sure you guys talk that out right now before this becomes a daily thing, right? Or a monthly thing, or you start feeling that resentment towards your partner. Remember your priorities. That's my tip number 3 or 4, whatever number I'm on. Remember, the priority is to love each other and grow together. That's the priority. Your family is your priority, not money, not financial status, not financial independence. Those are not priorities. Priority is the life that's in front of you, that life that you see when you look at your partner's eyes, when you look at your children's eyes, your family's lives. That's your priority in life. Everything else is wishy-washy, and it's going to come and go. It's all pretty brittle, right? Everything is brittle, so make sure you hold on to that priority and make sure you remind yourself and you remind your partner what that priority is. Tip number 6, 7, or 8, make sure you guys are giving each other enough space. When you're working together constantly, have some sort of division of, I'm going to go work in this space, I'm going to go work in that space. I'm going to be downstairs, I'm going to be upstairs. I'm going to do this, you're going to do that. Give yourselves that ability to step away from each other. I'm going to go to a coffee shop and do accounting for a couple hours. I'm going to go see my friend for a couple hours. Give yourself that space and those breaks, because too much time together, it doesn't matter how much you love somebody, you're going to bicker a bit. So just give yourself that opportunity to give yourself space and time away from each other, as well as quality time with each other after you're done working. If you made it this far in the video, I really do thank you. Shout out to Randy. Randy joins every single live stream that we've put on for a long period of time. Shout out to everyone that joins us there. Christy, I enjoyed talking to you last night about, breaking down percentages and figuring out how much you pay yourself. We really enjoy those interactions, so keep them coming. Leave comments, hit the thumbs up, share the videos. That helps us grow the channel and reach more people. And the intent is it pays for our medical insurance, it makes us some money, but we can also help people out. So I think everybody wins, and that's a pretty nice thing. Shout out to everyone that follows us on Instagram and on YouTube, that has purchased anything from us, that supports our business, that has bought our spreadsheet. Really thank you guys for all of that. We are currently working on a 2022 version. I think everyone's going to be ecstatic when we release it. We're working on price points. We're working on a few things that we cannot release just yet, so please stay tuned for that. Hit the thumbs up at some point if you'd like this video. If you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing. I know it's just been me talking to you, and I'm not as pretty to look at as my wife, so sorry. It's kind of, I have the height, but like this, it's all right. It gets me through life. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your support. Thank you for tuning into this video. You guys are great. You really are. And without you, this dream wouldn't be possible in some regards. So I really appreciate you, truly from the bottom of my heart. Thank you again. That's going to wrap it up for this one. It was roughly the 6-month mark. I wanted to do this earlier, but I also wanted to make sure that I have a good understanding of the workflow of our business before I get on camera and start blabbering about it. So now that we're 2 years in total, starting with part-time and about 6 months in full-time, things are going great. We're super optimistic. We have a lot of things to look forward to as we continue to grow this business, start hiring more people, scaling this thing up to a multi-million-dollar company. And thank you guys for joining us for the ride. With all that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm going to commit to making videos 3 times a week, premiering them at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be in the chat, or Melinda will be in the chat. We usually rotate, so come hang out, say hello, ask questions, get to know us a bit more, and we'll see you there. Until the next one, take care.